Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you JiMnZ versus JiMnZ in round 2 of the first Steel Division 2 Championship. If you'd like more information on the tournament, make sure to check the links in the description. They are going to be playing on Orsha East once again, and on the Soviet side we have JiMnZ playing the 3rd Canadian Infantry with the balanced deployment type. And on the Axis side, we see Big Jim, also known as JiMnZ, playing the 14th Infantry with the Vanguard deployment type. Now the 3rd Canadian, we've seen them before already. They are quite a versatile division, but the 14th Infantry even more so. And the 14th Infantry does have their big guns in the form of the Tigers, and no doubt Big Jim might bring those in early on if he's using a Vanguard deployment type. So let's have a look at the deployment anyway. On this top side we see Big Jim going to be using the Pak 40. He's got some Grenadiers, some Ersatztruppen, the Flammenwerfer, and another Ersatztruppen at the back. Further down we see a Tiger at the start. No surprise there, with 2 Panzer II Lux, Sturmpioneer, Stosstrup, Grenadier, Begleitpioneer, Grenadiers, and a Panzerbuchse. Now the Begleitpioneers are probably one of the standout infantry squads we're going to have to keep an eye on. You get 3 of them in Phase A and they are incredibly strong. They have MP44s as well as close range HE grenades, and they can tear enemy infantry squads to pieces. Getting a lot of value out of your Begleitpioneers is pretty important with the 14th Infantry. Further down we see the Flammenwerfers here, 2 Flammenwerfers, Stosstrup with MP44s make that 3. There's going to be some Sturmpioneer to back those up. So Stosstrup with MP44s, they are pretty decent at close range, but Sturmpioneer are going to be providing the flamethrower just to tip them over the edge. On the side of JiMnZ, on the bottom he has 4 units of rifles in white trucks. He's got the Staghound there, the 6-pounder, Sherman 5DD, and then another 4 units of rifles in white trucks and the rifle leader. So I doubt all of those are going to be going down into this forest engagement. He's likely going to spread some of those out up here, or maybe use this road to get to the second road of the town without having to expose himself down the main road. Although he does have some stuff on the main road, make that another 7 units of rifles with a Sherman 5. Further up, 2 units of Staghounds, 3 more rifles in white trucks, and on the very top side it's going to be rifles with a 6-pounder. So a much smaller deployment on the top side for JiMnZ, decent deployment in the center for JiMnZ, and then on the bottom side quite a substantial amount of troops. Looks like he's going to try and take the top side of the hill on the bottom here, which is interesting because this is probably one of the areas of the map where there's the least amount of flags. And that's something that is quite important to sort of watch out for when you're watching these players, like where they put their focus. Because the flags obviously is the most important. And in this case, not doing so may be more of a strategic thing where he wants to control the edge of the top of the hill and then use that to secure the 2 flags behind this forest on the bottom side. But he's going to have a hard time getting through the Stosstrup and the Flammenwerfers and the Sturmpioneer if they are used in the correct manner. See the 2 units of rifles moving up there. We've got 3 units of rifles that have drove to this area. I assume they are going to try and go up onto the hill here and secure the town in just a second. But rifles already unloading here are going to try and unload some Grenadiers and Ersatz, but they are already making a lot of ground. Oh, these rifles! There go the Begleitpioneers! Damn, they are dead already. That's going to be 9 MP44s. They've got the MG42 as well, plus the HE grenades at close range if they need them. And you just saw how much damage they took. Obviously the Grenadiers were also firing with their machine gun, but damn, those rifles died quickly. So Ersatztruppen and Grenadiers getting into cover there. Ersatztruppen currently getting the better of rifles, 2v1 on this top side. That is definitely a possibility that JiMnZ is going to have to watch out for, especially if he's going to have his rifles on the move. His rifles are actually taking more damage than they otherwise would at the moment because they are on the move, and that's something Big Jim is taking advantage of there in that ongoing engagement. On this bottom side, the 2 Flammenwerfers actually got killed already because they were trying to run into the 100 meter range of the enemy. In this situation, I would much rather see Big Jim play this a lot more defensively with his infantry. Have his flamethrowers and Stern Pioneers stay in the heavy forest, let ZiMnZ be the aggressor, and then pop the MP44s out when the rifles move into light cover, and they'll do absolute work. But at the moment, they're being picked off. The numbers here just aren't in the favour of Big Jim, and it's certainly starting to show. 2 more units of rifles coming down to help out this engagement as well. 2 rifles moving across the ridge to take on the Ersatztruppen. These Stoßtruppe are not going to be long for this world. There is a Sherman 5 there ready to back that up as well. Pack 40 is going to be engaging the Staghound there. I believe one of the Staghounds was already killed. Yep. But the rifles are now engaging, and that Pack 40 has not been retreated, so that's going to go down. Pretty big loss actually on the top side, but Tiger now going to be engaging a Sherman 5 in the center. Panzer II Lux have already made nice ground here onto the bottom side. These can push in very hard onto these rifles because the rifles don't have any AT. Now this is something I mentioned last time we saw the Canadians being used, is that their infantry doesn't have much AT. So you have to specialize into like scouts with Piats if you want to have that infantry AT available, or use the AT from your leaders. And that is less than ideal because your leaders are pretty important in Steel Division 2. Because not only do they provide 1-star veterancy, when you get a commander in, they provide 2-star veterancy, and that is a big deal. Anyway, Big Jim's going to be controlling the center of the map very well, whilst ZiMnZ has used his overwhelming force to take the bottom side. Currently, the only thing that's stopping the salient here is the Ersatztruppen. 2 Panzer II Lux are on the way, but they aren't going to do too well against the Staghound at range, as well as the Sherman 5. Now, Staghounds are actually really good for dealing with things like Panzer II Lux, because the Panzer II Lux only has 1,000 meter range on its gun. Staghound has 2,000 meters as the penetration to pop that, so really, really nice value for money versus the Panzer II Lux, as long as he spots them coming and makes that engagement happen before they get too close, because otherwise, at close range, the Lux will win. These 2 Panzer II Lux currently just sat here quite passively, and this infantry isn't really being used very proactively, especially after quite a significant win in the center of the town. It's given ZiMnZ time to reinforce with more rifles. 2 Lux were brought to the top side. One's bailed out, the other one's already dead. I believe that must be to the 6-pounder over here. Yep, that's managed to get the shots in there. Grenadiers, Ersatztruppen engaging the rifles. There, Ersatztruppen trying to push through towards these rifles. Actually, they're just currently stationary. Ersatz on the top side engaging the rifles in the open, but the Ersatz might actually run out of ammunition on their rifle. It's something you've got to watch out for with a lot of the disheartened units. They quite often don't have much ammunition. So it looks here, did end up going down, trading with the Staghound. Now the Sherman 5 is going to be looking for the kill there. 6-pounder on the bottom side, kills both of the Lux, and definitely opens up that salient. Really needs to keep going with these rifles. He committed so many rifles to this bottom side. Pushing through to the heavy forest on the edge of the ridge would be a really nice way to make use of those. Anyway, once again, the Begleit Pioneers melting a unit of rifles. Those are so nasty. Really good use of the Sherman 5 here to crew kill the Panzer II Lux. Just got to stay out of the line of sight of this Tiger, and the Sherman 5 being used very well in this position to get that kill. Rifles currently trying to hold the ground. Flammenwerfer is going to dislodge those rifles out of the building though. They might get pinned and surrender though. They are very low on morale. Yeah, that's unfortunate. If they had a bit more morale, they may have been able to do a bit more damage, but not for now. Those rifles can't get back in the building for the time being due to that being on fire. Panzer II Lux is taken care of. That's now dead. The Sherman 5, I believe, taking care of that. 2 Panzerbuchsers brought in to accompany the Grenadiers, provide a bit of AT against the Staghound. These Panzerbuchsers are good enough to take out a Staghound, so that's what they are there for. So now Big Jim's in a bit of a problem, big problem on this bottom side. He's got a couple of Begleit Pioneers with an order to go to the top side of the map, which is a bit odd. Maybe he had them accidentally selected when he right-clicked on the Staghound, but either way, ME410 coming in with a couple of bombs. Not sure what the size of those bombs is, maybe 500? No, they're probably 250 kilogram bombs, as those weren't very large explosions. So, a bit of a questionable bombing strike, especially considering there's not really much that's going to try and exploit whatever would have been pinned down by that. Regardless, JiMnZ making some ground on the top side here now. Double rifle squads versus one Ersatztruppen. Ersatztruppen is in trouble. He's going to have to fall back. Meanwhile here, 3 units of Ersatz versus 3 units of rifles. The rifles should come out on top just simply due to numbers. But otherwise it's a relatively close engagement. This unit of rifles sat out in the open isn't really too helpful, because it won't be getting the same defensive bonus that all of the Ersatz are. But thankfully the Ersatz are disheartened for JiMnZ, so he'll be able to take advantage of that to get some ground there. Now Big Jim currently still in the lead with his Vanguard deployment type, 13 to 11, but with the Vanguard deployment type you really do need to get a significant Phase A advantage, otherwise you're going to be in a world of pain for the rest of the game. And the 14th Infantry doesn't quite have the same staying power against the Canadians as we saw the Panzer Lehr have previously, because the Lehr has lots and lots of heavy tanks, whereas the 14th has a very finite amount, especially if you're bringing Tigers in Phase A, because I believe they only get 2 cards, and so he's only going to have probably another card in Phase B, and then that's probably it. So I would say like 6 Tigers, maybe 8 Tigers in total. Anyway, that AT gun's doing work. That 6-pounder takes out a Stug, took out a transport on the road there, took a shot from the Stug 3 from the light cover. That Stug 3 does not want to continue that engagement. The 6-pounder can definitely do a lot of work. JiMnZ, I don't think he's moved any of these troops on the bottom side for a long time now. These rifles currently on return fire as 4 units of Ersatztruppen come towards them. Doesn't want to reveal that location, which is fair enough. They're completely outnumbered. 2 Sherman 5s here, I guess waiting to push up onto the Tiger when the 6-pounder engages. But they are going to have to get through the Sturm Pioneer and the Gleit Pioneer first. And that's pretty scary. These rifles are in a pretty tough spot right now. 3 units of Ersatz engaging them with the rifles. Ooh, very nice hit from the LEFH 105mm. Very rarely you see them actually do a decent job. But in that case, kills off the leader, which is probably the most significant unit other than the Sherman 5 in that bottom side forest. So nicely done. Grenadiers going to be killing off the rifles as they come out of the tree line. Without the heavy cover, the rifles are going to die very quickly to the Grenadiers and the Ersatztruppen. These rifles on the main road, also not in cover yet. Will be soon. 2 units of rifles there do take out a unit of Grenadiers. Oh, here goes the Buglites. Oh, let's just watch them melt this rifle squad. Down to 5 men so quickly indeed. The Bofors is going to have line of sight though. Those 40mm shots will slowly cut down the Buglites. Might actually end up destroying the building that they are defending from, which would be actually quite nice for JiMnZ as he tries to push back. This Sherman 5 not in the best of positions versus the Tiger. Tiger going to be able to kill that off surely. Turret stuck there. That is a forward-facing turret stuck, I believe, which isn't too bad. It basically means that this is going to act like a self-propelled gun. Anyway, Grenadiers engaging rifles again on the top side. Nothing too exciting going on there. 105mm coming in for the artillery onto the Bofors. There is the radio, but that is, I believe, JiMnZ's radio. Where's that radio coming from? I think that's just JiMnZ's radio there from the rifle leader that we're seeing. So that LEFH 105mm probably doesn't have a decent shot onto the Bofors. Has a lot of dispersion normally, although I say that and a shot almost lands directly on target. Oh, that's a nasty shot from the 6-pounder. Nicely done by JiMnZ. Pops the Tiger in the town. And these Buglites down to 5 men now. Not really much in the way. to stop a Sherman 5 pushing forwards. Bring that a couple of rifles and damn. Gonna be in a nice position there, ZZ. Alright, as that's trooping, they pushed up, managed to kill off that unit. Not really gonna win Big Jim a flag, but good to hold that ground, especially along that line of buildings. It's quite a strong defensive position. Big Jim currently just doing the runner with the Beglite Pioneer. Realizes he's going to want to keep them alive. Was that a 6-pounder just killing off the Stug on the top? Damn. A lot of significant armor that Big Jim is bringing in is getting killed off pretty quickly. And that is scary stuff. Another LEFH 105 mil. Make that 2 have been brought in on the top side. And we also see off-map now. 210mm off-map. Going to be hitting the trees on the bottom. Now, Big Jim is going to be assaulting the top side of the ridge with the Sturm Pioneers and Beglite Pioneers. A combination that is very, very strong at close range. And that will tear through the rifles very quickly and make a lot of ground. But he is going to have to be careful of things like the Staghound and the Sherman 5 that he's not going to be able to kill, because the Staghound doesn't have an open top. So that means that the machine gun and the HE can just constantly fire. Anyway, ME410 coming in with the bombing strike. That's going to be killing off that rifle squad. Nice and easy. But bigger problems are here with the 6-pounder getting the better of the Tiger E. And with enough shots on target, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually has enough penetration chance to get through. Even if it's a low penetration chance, if it finds the right critical, like a transmission destroy or an engine destroy, then yeah, that Tiger's dead. The only way that that's going to get saved is if it gets smoked off, which he could do because he does have the LEFH 105 mils, which is, I guess, probably the only good thing, in my opinion, about those artillery guns. The Beglite Pioneer have been killed. Sherman 3 does take out the Sturm Pioneer, but there is the Pak 40 that does find the kill. You can see Jim here has turned off the APCR and the HE. He knows that the Pak 40 is sufficient enough with the AP shells to take on a Sherman 5 at that range, and is a lot more likely to kill in a smaller amount of shots. It's a great job. Mosquito still flying around from ZZ. You could certainly use that to strafe the 40mm if you wanted to, but it does leave it vulnerable to enemy fighters if he does so, so that may be why he is not. Oh, there is actually a flag here. Apologies. I did not see that flag before. I didn't realise there was actually a flag there. So, yeah. Jim's actually holding on to that flag with those ersatz, so an even better position for those troops than I previously mentioned. Either way, another Tiger has been purchased. The Tiger on the top side has gone down. 2 Stugs have died on that top side. I would say Jim's probably already getting low on armor at this point. Another Tiger coming in on the bottom side, though. Stug coming in to back up the Tiger in the center. But the off-map has landed. It did definitely chunk a lot of the rifles in the forest here. But that's not going to stop the 6-pounder from firing, because the 6-pounder hasn't even been touched yet. At max range, the Tiger will stand up to the 6-pounder quite well. But you can see these Beglite Grenadiers now being brought in. These are similar strength at range to Beglite Pioneers, but at closer ranges they don't have the HE to work with. Now, it's a massive problem if JiMnZ allows all of these to die to these tanks and AT guns before they unload. That's 2 squads already dead. The third is going to unload, but now that may not be enough on its own now to take the ground, which is unfortunate. He does have the Beglites and the Sturm Pioneers here, which are now going to move through. The HE grenades from the Beglite Pioneer might kill the Staghound if he gets like 2 on target. Potential for that, but risky. Because it might be a waste of the Beglite Pioneer's HE. But anyway, Beglite Grenadiers coming in on top of the rifles. JiMnZ is looking for the extra flag here to continue his 13-11 advantage. Looks like a unit of infantry died before it unloaded again in the center. Grenadier DP Might get killed off by the 6-pounder. No, they're going to get unloaded. Okay. So now this Tiger is just currently kind of covering the main road, as well as killing a bunch of rifles on the top side. This Stug 3 is currently gun jammed, which is really bad in the center. Right, let's see. Is that going to use its HE? I don't think so. The Stern Pioneer is currently flaming the Staghound, and that worked in actually pushing it into line of sight of the Tiger. But, yeah. The Beglite Pioneers might have been better off trying to use the HE. I don't know. It worked out just because the Staghound moved out of cover. Oh, Mosquito coming in with a strafing run. That is nasty. Pins down the Stern Pioneer pretty much instantly. Gives the rifles a little bit of a chance against these units, but the Beglite Pioneers are still really good. Damn, look at those MP44s go. The Beglite Grenadiers that actually tried to push into the bottom side got taken out. They are goners. Ooh, nice kill on the main road. Tiger E takes out a Sherman there. It's burning. And it's currently sitting at 12 to 12. This is going to be a really nice off-map. It's going to probably clean up the majority of the rifles that are left over. It's going to dislodge the Sherman 5 as well, most likely. Oh, Mosquito coming in with rockets now. That's going to kill off the Ersatztruppen, as well as pin down the Beglite Pioneers. And the Beglite Pioneers, they end up behind enemy lines. That could be rough. Oh, ME-109. Oh, no way. That was a nasty snipe from the Mosquito. That ME-109 flew in front of the Mosquito for like a second, and the Mosquito shot it down. That was disgusting. Damn. Well, here comes the off-map on the bottom side there. The artillery command gonna get pinned down, the rifles pinned down, but the Beglite Pioneers, that's the one thing you never want to see. They do get surrendered by the rifles, and well, it looks like JiMnZ is back to square one on the bottom side of the map. 210mm off map, trying to get into position here. To land a strike maybe onto these troops, or actually JiMnZ might be using that as a radio for his artillery. That might be the other use of that 210mm. Anyway, Tiger E in a reasonable position. It'd be nice to get it into a position that could shoot down this reinforcing road. That's for sure. The off-map hasn't exactly worked as intended as far as this Sherman 5 is concerned. Ideally, you'd want to see that Sherman 5 being forced to fall back towards the road, because then the Tiger gets the line of sight shot onto it. But at least the off-map might stop these Ersatztruppen being shot at as he moves towards it. He's also bringing up 3 more units of Beglite Grenadiers. These are very expensive though. Hopefully a couple of them don't die this time around. There is some smoke being used. Looks like he's potentially smoking off what was the AT gun. But the Ersatz are going to be enough to take the flag, which is a start. But that's only going to replace the flag that JiMnZ has now lost in the center. With the Beglite Pioneers and Stern Pioneers and all that good stuff in the town going down, he has lost this flag. But back to 1311 with this top side being capped briefly. Yeah, these LEFH 105s are taking advantage of the radios here to kill these rifles, which is good. Nice job indeed. 140mm off map coming in from ZZ onto the town. That will actually do a good job of pinning down a lot of this infantry, allowing the rifles to advance. And that is more or less your best bet when it comes to Canada and the 3rd Canadian, is using off map to pin down your opponents and then run onto them with rifles and Shermans and stuff. It's a really effective and fast way of making ground, and there's not a terrible amount you can do to counter it, unless you manage to stop the units advancing yourself. But the ME-410 coming in with the bombs, going to be looking for a kill onto the rifles, no doubt. Also going to be hitting these rifle squads. Yep, does pin them down. But most of the Ersatztruppen are going to be dead soon. And that is going to give another flag over to ZZ, making things equal once again. So I don't feel like Big Jim has really gained enough of an advantage in Phase A to win this game. And we're now in Phase C. So we're at a point where JiMnZ has 60 points more income per minute than JiMnZ. And that's a problem, for sure. Because now JiMnZ is going to have to find like 30% extra value out of all of his units. Which is a big ask, honestly. But has managed to find the extra flag on the bottom side, even having lost another flag in the center. So maintaining his 13 to 11 advantage by pushing in a different area to where he is being pushed himself. Which is okay strategically, you just got to be careful that you don't let this build up too much in the center and lose too many troops unnecessarily there. That was 2 units of grenadiers gone down before they unloaded. Almost a 3rd unit going down. That would have been nasty. Alright, the Tiger E. Oh, that's found a shot onto the 140mm off map. That is rough. If he lets that go down, he is in trouble on this bottom side, JiMnZ. Because currently the Begleits have a massive advantage. JiMnZ really needs to clean out this far side forest before this off-map lands. He does take out the 140mm. That only used 1 off-map strike. That's really, really nice. Mosquito coming in with the rockets will pin down the Tiger. Nice use of the Mosquito there for sure. Very, very nice indeed. Look at that beautiful, majestic aircraft. And here comes the off-map. JiMnZ taking a step back. He's going to let that off-map come in. And then he'll most likely run his rifles forwards to find out what he can surrender. There we go. As it comes down, he's going to start running a unit back in. That's pinned down pretty much every unit successfully. That was a really good off map. It's just a matter of, does JiMnZ take advantage of it? The Mosquito trying to do some damage to the Begleit Grenadiers. That's one thing the Mosquitoes aren't particularly good at, is they don't do too much damage to infantry. And any sort of rocket aircraft does struggle in that regard. Me-109G4 coming in again. Got to be careful. Doesn't want to head on a Mosquito. That could end very badly. Oh, pilot injure. Isn't going to allow that Mosquito to engage, but this Mosquito coming in behind. Only needs like 1 burst to kill off the Me-109. Currently, all of those Mosquitoes being outturned by the Me-109. An interesting engagement, but oh, is the Mosquito going to get a shot off? Not quite. Oh, there goes one of the rocket planes, but the Me-109 swiftly after. Damn. Just how quickly those Mosquitoes shoot down enemy aircraft is so scary. Right, the Tiger moving up here. Going to be looking for the engagement with the Sherman. JiMnZ does not want that to happen. He wants to stay out of line of sight of the Tiger E so that he can continue to engage the infantry whilst avoiding that himself. The Begleit Grenadiers still pinned down here. Might be surrendered. That would not be good news. It's a very expensive unit to lose. Probably hasn't done too much either. And I was saying how at this point in the game JiMnZ's going to have to find like an extra 30%, 40% value from all of his troops on that bottom side. I feel like he's kind of struggling to find that right now. In the town, Grenadiers are okay for securing that objective for now, but an off map onto that position from like the 140mm ram or something might be enough to just push through there. There's also now 25 pounders on the field from JiMnZ. He's going to be using those to counter battery the LEFH 105mm, and these haven't been spread out at all. Oh, that could be nasty. A direct hit onto one of these Maltiers will kill all of those units, because this Maltier will blow up, killing the other Maltier, and that will most likely kill both of the LEFH 105mm. So only one of those shots from the 25 need to land close enough to get that kill. Oh, that is nasty. Oh my. That is why you pull your supply trucks away from your artillery. Damn. Now, that is an ouch. Like, big oof, guys. Big oof. Oh, and another big oof on the bottom side. 17-pounder pops the Tiger. Half-track also goes down to the Sherman 3. JiMnZ just lost a ton of units there. That was at least, what, 300, 400 points worth of units dead? Oh, damn. I kind of feel sorry for JiMnZ after that one. Nice bombing strike coming in onto the artillery command, pinning that down. Removing any leaders is always good in Steel Division. Way more than in Steel Division Normally 44 in my opinion. Although Normally 44, veterancy was still pretty key. But often leaders were used for combat. Actually, I don't know, were they? Three-man squads? I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking gibberish. But Light Grenadiers here, regardless, going to do a lot of damage against the rifles. At that range, they get all of their MP44s, G43s, and MG42s on target, and you can see they are just tearing up these two rifle squads currently. They will get overwhelmed, though. They can certainly be overwhelmed. Oh, rifles there. Looks like off-map did come down. Dealt with the Grenadiers that were defending that flag, and now we see a 13-11 in the favor of ZZ. JiMnZ has held the advantage for most of the game, but I believe about 5 to 10 minutes ago, within 5 to 10 minutes ago, we've seen the tides change for sure, and now JiMnZ is definitely on the back foot, struggling to find value from his units, and ZZ is just constantly going forwards. 25-pounders taking out those 105 mils was so good because it leaves him with like uncontested artillery almost. I think a couple of these are probably on counter battery orders and they are targeting the 105 mil at the back here. But once that's gone down, all of these 25-pounders are just going to be able to be targeted on the front line. That's going to take the place of the off-map in the strategy of pinning down your enemy and then running onto them. So 14-10, ZZ has certainly started to get the better of Big Jim. On the top, JiMnZ just kind of holding on by the skin of his teeth here, just because ZZ hasn't really probed him in that position for a little while. Currently both players very much focused on the center and bottom side of the map. It does make sense because this is where most of the contested points are. There is obviously this contested point here, but nothing that JiMnZ can do about it, so he's not really putting any pressure in up there. 3 units of Grenadiers right next to each other right now. Not really the best use. He's obviously brought them up there and forgot to unload them earlier, and now they've been caught out in the open, but we'll be able to do some damage against the rifles. Just unfortunately, there's too many rifles to deal with after that. Oh, Flakveling getting the best of those rifles there. 210 mil off map has been spotted. I think ZZ is going to move in to try and kill that off. Artillery now coming down on top of the Flakveling to get rid of that. The LEFH here has been killed. It looks like the artillery was killed and the Multiate was not this time around. Tiger Fiora will definitely help with infantry engagements like Grenadiers, Big Light Grenadiers. These Big Light Grenadiers unfortunately don't have many men left. If that was a full squad of Big Lights, I would say that alongside the Tiger, they could easily just kill all of these rifles and then probably eventually get through the Shermans as well. Just got to keep this Tiger clear of the 17-pounder, and then he's good. But this salient isn't good at all for JiMnZ. That's not nice at all. Well, we see the Mosquito coming in with the rocket strike to try and pin the Tiger. Unsuccessful in doing so. 25-pounders surely going to take out the Flakveling any second. Having done so, will allow the movements of the rifles to continue and the salient to grow. There's going to be another flag taken from JiMnZ. In the centre here, nice artillery and bombing strikes onto the infantry has pinned down a lot of these units. In this position, I probably wouldn't be scared to use the 210 to try and surrender some of those units, because other than radio, there's not much use for this off-map vehicle anymore if the off-map strikes are used up. So why not just use it to take advantage of that bombing strike there and zoom on through. On the road, it's going to have plenty of speed. It might not get killed by the Sherman 5 before it gets there. I think it would be worth a try. Regardless, Pack 40 is going to be trying to engage 2 Sherman 3s. Once again, JiMnZ has turned off his APCR in order to engage those tanks, because he's more likely to one-shot kill if he does so, like so. However, Shermans with the 50 cals plus the HE are probably going to pin down the Pack 40 in time. The stress there causing that to miss. Sherman, unfortunately, takes care of JiMnZ's AT gun, putting him in an even harder position now. We've even got the 25 pounders coming in on that position. Well, now we see the 210mm moving up. Bit of an odd timing this time around. But there we go. Mosquito, was that a Mosquito that went down? No, it looks like that was the ME-109 actually. Got shot down. Mosquito managed to get the better of it. Big old salient on the bottom side, and ZZ knows it. He's drove through with the Sherman 3s. He's brought up a bunch of rifles. Time for him to just secure his victory on this bottom side. It looks like JiMnZ is completely running out of steam. He's lost lots and lots and lots of units without much value, and yeah, you can see that really taking effect now as ZZ can just bring in tons and tons of rifles with every tick, whilst Jim, well, he may still have 1 or 2 Tigers left, but that's not going to really be much or enough to save him. This Grenadier might be able to get a cheeky kill onto the Sherman 5. That would be fantastic value, which may open up some opportunities on the top side of the map, actually. This could be an area at which JiMnZ could gain back 3 flags very quickly. But that still probably wouldn't be enough at the moment to save him. Especially with the rifles pretty much driving through to the spawn at this point. And if they manage to get dug in this town, that's going to secure pretty much this entire bottom side of the map for the rest of the game. As they will be difficult to dislodge without any significant RT or bombers or anything like that. And with the Grenadiers being pinned and killed off here and in the centre, unfortunately this very much looks like curtains for Big Jim. If that land spawn is officially cut off, when they go green like that, that's when you know. They slightly change colour when they are out of action. You only actually have to cover the tip of the arrow in order to do that. But nicely done. 19-5. Major defeat in 4 minutes 30 seconds. So these 25 pounders now more or less completely uncontested. There is one SK-100, which is a good choice for counter battery, but is not being used for counter battery. So there we have it. It looks like JiMnZ decided to surrender at that point. 35 minutes, 38 seconds. JiMnZ just couldn't find enough of an advantage in the early game to follow through on that one. And it gave enough time for ZZ to build up his forces and push back with the off-map infantry armor combo. 4,135 kills to 2,275 losses. Lots and lots of value on the side of the 3rd Canadian. Not what you want to see as the 14th infantry player. So, Stag Hound did well. That helped out, killing off Stostrup, Flammenwerfer, a Panzerbuchse, and the Pioneer. Damn. So, very good Stag Hound. These are normally not that great against infantry because they have a 30 cal, and that doesn't have much HE value. And the main gun doesn't have much HE either. They've only got 1 machine gun. Rifles there. 2 Stostrup and a Sturm Pioneer. That is some serious value. Probably comes down from some artillery hitting those units, and then the rifles being there to pin them down, or keep them pinned down, and then surrender them or kill them. The 6-pounders, really great value from the 6-pounders throughout this game. That one 6-pounder finding the 2 Stug kills, really, really nice. And this one killing off these Panzer II Looks. The Panzer II Looks are really, really deadly against units that don't have any AT, and that is exactly the definition of most of the Canadian units. So making sure that those Panzer II Looks are shut down is very important, and I don't think JiMnZ got much value out of them. Rifles killing 2 Ersatz and a Grenadier, Sherman 5, 2 Stug kills, and loads of infantry. I would say one mistake that JiMnZ did make quite a lot was losing his infantry and his transports. I'd say that's something that everybody does, honestly. I do it all the time, but it's certainly something at high level play that you want to try and avoid as much as possible, and something you got to like train out of your system, got to pay attention to when you're bringing in your transports. I mean, one way you can do it is just give them like a seize order, because if they come under fire, they just all automatically unload anyway. But hey, ME410 there, getting some rifle kills is nice. Good use of off-map, I think, from the 210mm off-map from Big Jim. There was some maybe questionable strikes on the bottom side. The first one softened up the units, the second one killed a lot of the units. But honestly, I like to see off-map used in conjunction with other units to pin down the units with the off-map and then push onto them, rather than just using it to kill them. I don't think artillery, like off-map artillery, really has that much lethality very often, unless you overinvest your strikes onto the same position multiple times. So that's something to bear in mind. Tigeries, they did okay in certain respects. This was the one on the bottom side that popped the Sherman 5 and the 140mm. I think that was a point at which I thought JiMnZ might be able to make some sort of comeback on that bottom side, but it kind of fell away from him, unfortunately. Once the off-map came down, it allowed ZZ to get back into position there. But otherwise, an interesting game for sure. Good to see the Canadians coming out on top in this one. 14th Infantry had a good chance, but couldn't quite get there. Big Jim did have a pretty big ticket advantage moving into the 20-minute mark, but not big enough to really seal the deal of the game. And there you have it. All right, so that's the third game. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want more information on the tournament, make sure to check the description. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.